Hello everybody, welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for our Premier League review show. It is dearly departed time. Round 31 is where we are up to. Little bit mixed. Sensational win for Leeds. Great win for West Brom. Bit of a killer defeat for Fulham a couple of nights ago as well. We are going to talk about all of those results for our 5 dearly departed teams. Who are the dearly departed? They are, of course, the teams I covered down in the Championship, and we still keep in touch right now. And we're going to go through their games, that being Aston Villa, Sheffield United, Leeds, West Brom and Fulham. Before we get into those games, say a big thank you to Jay, who is our fan sponsor. Dearly departed, known as Ben, couldn't bear to lose us. Absolutely not. And we appreciate you greatly, Jay. Jay got involved over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. We're going to be working towards 3 Patreon-only shows per week. Great way to support the channel and my work and get a bit of extra content for your money as well. Right, let's have a look at the results for round 31. As ever, Bluebell by the side of each of the dearly departed games. And the first 3 belong to our teams. Fulham 0, Wolves 1, Man City 1, Leeds 2, Liverpool 2, Villa 1, Palace 1, Chelsea 4. We have less interest in. Burnley 1, Newcastle 2. Well, we have quite a lot of interest in that for a couple of our teams, but we'll talk about that when we do their games. West Ham 3, Leicester 2, Spurs 1, Man United 3. Sheffield United 0, Arsenal 3 was one of our games on Sunday night, as was last night. West Brom 3, Southampton 0, Brighton 0, Everton 0 is the last game. As ever, we will go from highest ranking team to lowest. And for the first time in a while, we've got a different highest ranking team, and that is Leeds United, and that is where we'll start. It was Manchester City 1, Leeds United 2. And you can see no teams, no goals up there. It says review. And there's a screenshot of my review because I've already reviewed this on the channel. So if you want my really detailed thoughts on this, there's 17 minutes that I put up on Sunday morning. Go and check that out if you haven't already. So not too much more to say on this one other than sensational win from Leeds, with the massive caveat that the captain got sent off just before half-time as well. They were 1-0 up at that point. Dallas had scored in the first half, but Cooper out. And not only did they survive the second half, the equaliser is scored by Ferran Torres, but they go ahead and win the game right at the end. I think it's just about in stoppage time. Dallas gets his second. Plenty to talk about, which I have done already. Brilliant performance. Big tip of the cap to Bielsa and Dallas in particular, who's having a wonderful run towards the end of the season here in central midfield as well, Mr. Versatility. So that is all I will say, and I will direct you towards the review. We will look at the table, though, and we will see a 3rd consecutive win from Leeds. 10 points in 4 games, up to 10th. Obviously, the Arsenal win has dropped Villa into the bottom half of the table. They do still have a game in hand, do Villa. We talked about a possible Leeds trend up, didn't we, towards the end of the season? Leeds fans kind of tempered me with that. They said, Ben, look at our next fixtures, it's tricky. But surprise win here at the runaway league leaders. And will they be confident going into the final 2 of these 3-match tricky run that the Leeds fans were talking about? So brilliant result, probably up there with Villa 7, Liverpool 2 as our dearly departed result of the season. Again, if you want my detailed views on that, go and flip over to the other video, have a watch of that, and then come back and see how it all fits in with the other dearly departed teams here. But incredible result, brilliant stuff, signature win this season. It was Manchester City 1, Leeds 2. Get your thoughts in the comments. Speaking of Villa and Liverpool, It was Liverpool and Villa this time, and it was Liverpool 2, Villa 1. A bit of revenge for that sensational 7-2, just mind-blowing game earlier in the season. Things look a little bit different for Villa now. I remember Barkley and Grealish just dominating in that game, and Villa struggling here again without captain Jack, conspicuous by his absence. And they're going to go down in the last minute as well in this one, stoppage time. Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to get the winner. There are your teams. So for Liverpool, Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Phillips, Kabak and Robertson. So still look down in the missing column there. Van Dijk, Matip, Gomez, Henderson, who was covering as well. They had Fabinho in there, but obviously a bit more trusting of the guys they've got in there to play central midfielders. Wijnaldum, Fabinho, Milner, Jota, Firmino and Salah. No Mane in there. For Villa, sticking with the 4-3-3, obviously there's been a slight move since kind of Barkley's gone out of the team, frankly, and Grealish has been injured. The 4-2-3-1 has been somewhat ditched. Martinez in goal, Kashkon's a Mings target. Nakamba comes in with Louise and McGinn. That rhymed. Beautiful bit of poetry there, wasn't it? I'll play that one back. Trezeguet, who came off the bench to score a double to beat Fulham in that big turnaround, which we saw on the watch-along. He starts with Watkins and Traore. Watkins actually gives Villa the lead in this one. Slid in, I think, from McGinn, 7 there. Little bounce for Watkins, sticks it home early with the left foot. There had been a VAR goal. I think it's Firmino who put it in before that. So Villa lead at half time, but Liverpool are going to turn it round in the second half. Robertson, you can see on his belly, left side of the box, has just slammed that shot in. Martinez makes a decent enough save, but he parries it out. Mo Salah heads it into the empty net. Villa get up to stoppage time. Martinez makes a great save again. He's had an excellent season, hasn't he? Emi Martinez. Out it goes, though, to Alexander-Arnold. Works it in on his right foot, curls it into the far corner. A killer for Villa. The late goal and Villa's drop off. Obviously, Villa fans are probably fed up of all the talk about Grealish not being there, but it is the elephant in the room. We have to analyse the points with and the points without now, points per game, and it is a concern. You can see it's a nice viable performance from Liverpool despite the late goal. Look at the shot map, nicely populated there. The XG 2.34 to 0.82 as well. 23 shots, 10 on target to 5. 3 big chances to 1. Says, despite the late goal, which is always context is king, Liverpool may well have been good value for that win. You let me know what you think in the comments. And there is the table. And disappointingly for Villa, they have dropped out of the top half. And that only victory now in those last 5 games was via that Fulham collapse, which did feel a bit like a perfect storm once that first goal got in. And Villa could have honestly not won that game either. So there is an obvious trend downwards here. Arsenal have moved above them. Leeds have moved above them. There is then a 6-point gap. So 11th place is looking fairly comfortable for Villa, which is great, big picture, but they would love to finish in the top half. They've got a game in hand on Leeds and Arsenal above them. So can they bounce back, and can they do it without Captain Jack? Because I think they've said another couple of weeks for Grealish as well. So let me know what you think in the comments on that one. Little trend downwards for Villa. Liverpool 2, Villa 1. And the heartbreaking one this week was Fulham 0, Wolves 1. Another stoppage time goal. We've had a stoppage time goal in each of these games, haven't we? By Adama Traore. And it does feel, I hate to say it, does feel like a bit of a decisive one. This one, doesn't it? The manner of the defeat, the fact that it's 4 defeats on the trot now for Fulham, isn't it? And it felt like They'd got themselves into a position to challenge Newcastle particularly. When they were 1-0 up against Villa in that previous game, they did, in the live league table, go above Newcastle temporarily. And with what has happened since, with Newcastle's win at Burnley as well, and a good draw against Spurs for Newcastle. Oh dear, it does feel like the tide has turned and the pendulum has swung into Newcastle's favour. And I don't know if it's this simple, but there's a bit of a sense that Fulham got themselves in the position, and if they were good enough to do it, they would now be, hacking away at Newcastle. And sadly, on the evidence of the last couple of games, they unfortunately haven't been. There is your Fulham team. Areola, Iain, Anderson. Congolo comes in. Adrabio drops out. Robinson, Tetty. So a back three and wing backs there. Reed, Lamina, the other Reed. So Harrison in central. Bobby off to the side. Loftus-Cheek off. Mitrovic, look down at the bottom. No Lookman, who has been excellent for Fulham. He limped out of the Villa game. For Wolves, Patricio, Semedo, Cody Saiz, Nuri, Neves, Dendonka, Neto, Podence, Traore, the match winner there, and William Jose up the top. And he has the ball in the net, and I'm sure even Fulham fans and all neutrals will say it's another soul-destroying offside. It's Podence, isn't it? 10 gets slid in and just needs sorting out. Gary Neville spoke beautifully about this on the Gary Neville podcast, which is on YouTube as well. He said I feel exactly the same. He said, I'm numb to it now. I don't know what a foul is. I don't know what an offside is. I'm not bullish or brash about decisions. I feel exactly the same. With penalties, I'm going, whatever. It's 2021. If it's not given, I'm not surprised. If it is given, I'm not surprised. Don't know what a foul is anymore. An offside, we do know what an offside is, but it feels like the whole purpose of the law has just disappeared. I don't know how anyone's gaining any kind of advantage by when they're facing away from the goal and their fibres of their shirt are, 2 centimetres ahead of the fibres of the centre-half shirt who's, okay on the edge of the box, but a few metres away, that direction. I'll say no more, but it feels like we need to get back to, has the attacker, have they gained an advantage or have they not? And how negligible is that advantage, even if they have? But that one's disallowed. This one, however, wasn't. Does he catch Areola by surprise? We know Traore is a hugely quick, hugely powerful player. He's out on the angle. I mean, if your glass is really half empty, you say, he can't be scoring from there. But if your glass is half full in terms of praising the attacker, it's very direct, it's very deliberate. He slams it into the top corner on the near post, and you give Traore the credit for the finish, and you give Wolves the credit for the win. Thoroughly disappointing one, though, as we cover the dearly departed, and it's so tight. Look at the shot map. Nothing there really for Wolves in the game. 0.49 on the XG, and they've snuck in there late. Yes, I know they had a goal slightly pedantically disallowed, didn't they? But then look, there's plenty in it for Fulham. One big chance to 0. Hit woodwork as well. 14 shots in the game, but only 3 on target. And it's got to play the fine margins and win the game. And it just weren't good enough in this one to do that, were they? So infuriatingly, when we look at the table, it is a 4th straight defeat, and that coupled with the Newcastle win at Burnley really means that Newcastle have got 7 to go, Fulham have got 6 to go. It's a 6-point gap, and lest we forget that obviously this wasn't a confirmed result, but during that Villa game, Fulham were leading, they were above Newcastle, and they just feel like they've just slid away at the worst possible time. Let me know what you think in the comments. Fulham 0, Wolves 1. Now, we can be a little bit more upbeat about West Brom, who got their 2nd straight win here, and they're banging in the goals as well. Very oddly for a Big Sam team. They beat Chelsea and scored 5, didn't they? 3-0 winners here against Southampton. So really convincing stuff. And if miraculous escapes are going to happen, you do need, we always talk about, 3 wins in 4, back-to-back wins, just a quick splurge of points way over and above what you've done as a club through the season. West Brom are doing that. I think they've got 12 points in 8. 7 games to go. So, I don't know, an equivalent from 7, maybe 11 from 7 or 10 from 7. And we'll see where we are. It depends on Newcastle now and that lead, but we are still in the realms of miraculous escapes. But a good little run of form for West Brom now. It's a little run of form. 12 points in 8 games is quite a fairly long run of form, isn't it? Johnston in goal, Furlong, O'Shea, Bartley, Townsend, Robinson, who's in fine form, isn't he? Maitland-Niles, Yokuslu and Phillips. Pereira also in form. Diania. Those are the guys, aren't they? Robinson and Pereira have scored. They both got doubles, didn't they, against Chelsea? And they both scored in this one as well. So essentially got 6 goals in 3 games between the two of them. Excellent stuff. Diania, as I mentioned. Up top for Saints, Forster, Walker-Peters, Bednarek, Vestergaard, Bertrand, Walcott, Ward-Prowse, Diallo, Armstrong, Redmond, Ings. Let's have a look at the goals. Do we have to do this again? I don't know what's going on there. The line clearly it's Bartley's feet are across it, and Diania doesn't have his feet across it. He heads it into the goal. So my understanding is that Bartley's not in the keeper's line of sight. The ball doesn't reach him. Ergo, he's not in at film replay. I don't know what they're doing there. I really don't know what they're doing. So put your comments in. I can't explain it. I don't know whether we'll get an explanation from VAR about that. But anyway, fortunately, it didn't matter because Pereira fouled in the box by Forster towards the end of the first half. He steps up. Sticks the pen down the middle, 3 goals in 2 for Pereira, ending the season very, very well. This is a great goal. It's Diania who really curves that cross to the back post for Matt Phillips. Brilliant stuff, 2-0. And a classic Big Sam goal as well, because they win the ball back high up the pitch and just a transition attack really quickly. And we all know that tactic, don't we? Sit in, go. And they went and they scored. 3-0. Robinson, great finish, left foot, slid in. And he, like Pereira, now has 3 goals in the last 2. James Ward-Prowse, I don't know how well this bodes for England if he's in the squad as a set play guy or a penalty guy for a shootout. Sam Johnston is England's squad mate from the last set of call-ups, makes the save. Ward-Prowse misses the pen. It stays 3-0. And Johnston gets his clean sheet. Nice and viable. Big Sam won't care about those 14 shots. What he'll love is the 6 big chances that West Brom created in this game. Look at the shot map. It proves, and Big Sam has constantly proved throughout his career, you don't need a hell of a lot of possession to win games, create chances. 39% possession, 6 big chances, 3-0 win. Bish, bash, bosh. And Big Sam's going to be loving this at the moment because they are in fine form. Obviously, looking at the table, it doesn't look great, but I don't know whether Allardyce would argue, I'm sure he would at the end of the season, that if he'd been there all season and you extrapolated the points per game from the time he'd been there, there'd probably be a fair argument they'd be safe, wouldn't they? So it is 12 points in the last 8. Back-to-back wins is 6 from 6. And is there a collapse? That's the question ahead of them. They've got to get past Fulham, which they can do so via a game in hand. Whether it's reasonable of me to assume that a team with 24 points from 31 games is going to get 3 from a game in hand or not is a different matter. But if we're talking about a miraculous type rise, then they'd need another 2 wins in the next 3, which would take them to 30 points from 33. And then you're starting to get closer. But again, this all relies on a Newcastle collapse and Fulham to just continue to sort of fizzle out, which they appear to be doing at the moment. There is, of course, Burnley and Brighton in there. We'll see. Burnley back-to-back defeats. But the point per game, I mean, Allardyce is just right about it. Look, Everyone outside the relegation zone has a point per game. Everyone in the relegation zone has under a point per game. It just feels like the line for relegation. Same in the Championship as well. Let me know your thoughts on that one and Big Sam and West Brom, and a good little run, but too little too late. You let me know. It was West Brom 3, Southampton 0. And finally, let's go into my disappointed voice. Sheffield United, who are, I think, now one game from relegation. They lost 3-0 at home to Arsenal. I'm sure Blades fans won't want me to warble on about their season. It's been awful and just want to get to the end of it now. It'll almost be a weight off the shoulders when relegation is eventually confirmed. Like Fulham now, I think it's 4 straight defeats as well. And they went under 3-0 against Arsenal at home here. Ramsdale in goal, Ampadu, Egan, Stevens. I mean, look at the injuries down there. Look, Basham, Bogle, Baldock, Berger, all the Bs, Sharp, Robinson, O'Connell, all, well, apart from Sharp there, and Berger, but a hell of a lot of defensive players missing as well. Fleck, Norwood, Lundstrom, Burke and McGoldrick. As the Blades really, if you're a Blades fan, you're probably just looking, right, who can do a job in the Championship? Who's going to stay and get Sheffield United straight back up in the way that Norwich had nearly confirmed has done, Watford looked close to doing, and Bournemouth edging into those playoffs potentially tonight, making their game in hand count. There for Arsenal, Leno, Chambers, Holding, Mari, Xhaka, Ceballos, Partey, Pepe, Saka, Martinelli and Lacazette, who's going to get 2 goals in this one. And you have to say this first goal is brilliant, isn't it? Really quick ping-pong passing. Saka to Ceballos, lovely back heel. Touch, finish, Lacazette. Brilliant goal. Absolutely brilliant goal from Arsenal. Ripped Blades apart there. There is the second. That is Martinelli following him from Pepe's shot. Forgive me, I didn't see you slid him through here, but it's a lovely assist for Lacazette, who sticks in the third goal. Sorry, let me actually give him the credit. It was 18 on the shirt. It was Thomas Partey. Touch and slide through to Lacazette, who gives Ramsdale the eyes. Look, he's leaning the wrong way. He's going to go in the other corner. And that is 3-0. Fairly comfortable stuff for Arsenal. And you can see by the shot map and the XG that Sheffield United didn't create anything. Did they, Arsenal? 3 big chances to 0. A comfortable win, and Sheffield United are comfortably bottom. 10 points adrift of West Brom. But the important number now is they are 18 points adrift of Newcastle. So if that goes to 19 points or more over the next game, then Sheffield United are down, because they will then have 6 to go. So we're looking at a Sheffield United defeat in the next game. A single point for Newcastle will put the gap to 19. Sheffield United would only be able to score 18 and they would officially be down. Let me know what you think as a Blades fan. Will it be just a weight lifted and, you know, it's done, move on, get back? That seems to be the narrative rather than me babbling on about another defeat. Let me know what you think in the comments. It was Sheffield United 0, Arsenal 3. That's our show. Thank you again to Jay, dearly departed, also known as Ben. Couldn't bear to lose us, absolutely not. Thank you again to Jay, who sponsors us. Go and get involved via Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Plenty of content this week on the channel. Obviously, in the main is Championship stuff, but the dearly departed preview will be landing. I think we'll try and get it in on Thursday this week, a little bit ahead of time, because it's a bit of a stretched out Championship schedule with games on Tuesday and Thursday. Rotherham playing on both of those nights. It's the mad Rotherham week this week. So yeah, everything ticking along beautifully. Over 15,000 subscribers now, so please hit subscribe, ring the bell, all of that good stuff. You'll hear about that in the advert in just a sec. So I will be quiet. I'm wearing the advert jumper as well, and we'll just flip across. You can see if I've put any weight on or my hair's any longer since we filmed the advert picture. Don't comment on that, hey? Right, thank you everybody for watching. A great week for Leeds. A good week for West Brom, but they're still in a bit of bother. Not so good for the other 3 of the dearly departed. And we are very close to welcoming Norwich into the dearly departed, potentially on Saturday. That will be happening. I'm sure you dearly departed fans will welcome them in with open arms, won't you? Thank you everybody for watching, and it is over and out from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button, and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.